Welcome to the Paul Adefarasin podcast, our interactive 15-minute review of this week's message. We revisit the word, surface the big ideas, and give you space to reflect, pray, and act. If you'd like the full message, though, you can watch it on YouTube or listen on Spotify after this episode. My name is Paul Adefarasin.
How do you actually see yourself? I mean, are you defined just by your current situation, by the what is? Or do you maybe sense there are these huge untapped possibilities that are sort of waiting beyond your reach? And what if unlocking all that wasn't about some big external thing changing? What if it was really about an internal shift inside you? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to get into the incredible power of a changed mindset. We're exploring how shifting your thinking could actually be like a master key to your destiny. And the core idea we want to unpack is, well, it's pretty powerful. Maybe our biggest struggles aren't from the outside. Maybe they come from us, refusing to change our minds, our perspective.
Oh.
Yeah, so our source material for this deep dive is from a really impactful Sunday service. It's titled, Change Your Mind and It Will Change Your Life.
Yeah.
Delivered by Pastor Paul Farasu from the House on the Rock Ministry. And this sermon, it has this unique mix, doesn't it? Spiritual insight, but also like practical wisdom. And it's all anchored in this fascinating story from the Bible, from the book of Acts. So our mission today.
It's really to pull out the most powerful bits of wisdom from this message. We want to help you understand not just what it means to change your mind, but why it's so important, and how it could maybe propel you from feeling limited to seeing all this possibility, equipping you, hopefully, to make that shift in your own life. Okay, so let's kick this off. Let's unpack this foundational idea from the sermon. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Yeah, that sounds maybe a bit old-fashioned, but it's presented here as much more. It's called the master key to your profoundly possible destiny, which suggests your mindset isn't just like a side note. It's literally the blueprint for what you believe you can do, what you can experience.
Yeah, and what's really striking, I think, is the sermon's point that our struggles, they aren't necessarily because, God's absent or help isn't there. Often it's because we've refused to change our minds. It's quite challenging. It sort of pushes you to ask, have I become so consumed with my own dysfunction, so focused on what's wrong, that I've just lost sight of the vast possibilities that the sermon suggests might already be prepared for us. It's really about shifting focus, isn't it? From the broken bits to what's still possible.
It really does make you stop and think. I mean, have you ever felt like that?
Yeah.
That your focus on what's not working has maybe overshadowed the wonder of what could still happen. Well, this deep dive, hopefully, is about helping lift that focus a bit. And the sermon uses this incredible story to illustrate it all. From Acts chapter 3, it's the story of the lame man at the temple gate, the one called Beautiful. And his reality just paints such a clear picture of, stagnation. Okay, so this man, he was lame from birth, from infancy. The text suggests he's maybe over 40 years old, never walked, never ran, never had a normal childhood in that sense. His life was just this monotonous routine every single day, the same. And that creates a mindset, right? And total resignation. The sermon puts it so vividly, stuck in a place called Beautiful, but having an ugly problem. Wow. Being right there at a place of beauty, of potential, but completely unable to access it.
Exactly. And the source argues his lameness wasn't just physical, his ankles and feet. It actually extended deeper to his mentality, his possibility thinking. It affected everything, his career prospects, his relationships. He's painted as someone really deprived, socially underdeveloped because of it. But then the sermon takes this individual story and it broadens it out. It suggests that whole groups, even nations, can experience a kind of collective lameness. Yeah, there's this really powerful analogy drawn in the source material. It connects the man's condition to the historical situation of Israel under Roman rule, a society dealing with occupation, internal religious conflicts, leadership that was maybe more focused on commerce, even in the temple area. And the sermon suggests that Israel, by sort of rejecting certain messages or paths, became, in a way, as lame as the man at the Beautiful gate, limited in its understanding, its ability to act, just like the man had developed this management system for his problem, just getting by, subsisting, not really thriving. The sermon implies societies can do that too, just manage crises instead of fixing the root issues. The underlying message seems to be about leadership, education, using inherent strengths to transform rather than just accepting things as they are.
That's a really striking parallel. It makes you wonder, where in your own life, maybe, are you just managing a problem? Some coping mechanism instead of looking for real transformation. Are you maybe stuck at a beautiful place but have an ugly problem? It's definitely a prompt to look at where we might have just settled. Okay, so picture the scene now. Peter and John are coming up to the gate, and the lame man, He's used to begging, right? He doesn't expect healing. He expects alms. This means charity, basically, coins. But Peter says something completely different, something bold. Look on us. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, give I thee. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Huge declaration. But then, and this is what the sermon really emphasizes, nothing happens. Right after Peter says this, the man is still lying there, unmoving. It's only then that Peter took him by the right hand and lifted him up. And the sermon points out the original Greek word for took suggests something forceful, like an arrest or apprehending someone, not just a gentle hand up. It was like Peter had to decisively awake him to this new reality he wasn't seeing yet.
And this raises a really interesting question, doesn't it? Why grab his hand, his working hand, presumably, not his lame ankles? And the insight from the sermon is, well, it's profound. It says, as long as you keep laying hands on your problem and not your power, you will never get up. Wow. The idea is we often pour all our energy into focusing on the weakness, the disability, when the real key to breakthrough might be leveraging what is working, using what's working against what is not working in your life. Well, so the focus shifts away from the incapacity towards the capacity that still exists, even if it seems small.
That is a powerful reframe, isn't it? So what's your functional hand right now in your life? What strengths, what things that are working are you maybe overlooking? Because you're so focused on the lame ankles, the problems. It really makes you think about where your attention actually goes. And for the man in the story, the change was instantaneous and complete. As soon as Peter lifted him, it says his feet and ankle bones received strength immediately. And he wasn't just like tentatively walking. He was leaping up, stood and walked, and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising God. The sermon highlights no therapy, no recovery program, nothing gradual. It's just a total immediate paradigm shift. His whole world changed in a second. So imagine that. The man's new reality. Suddenly his problem isn't lameness anymore. His new challenge is how to cope with success, how to deal with victory. He becomes this instant spectacle, a living epistle. Everyone sees this incredible change, basically a walking, talking, leaping testament to what just happened.
And this leads to another key point the sermon makes, the danger of low expectations. It suggests that sometimes fear actually holds us back. Fear of getting up, fear of getting better, fear of getting bigger. It pushes us to ask, are you maybe scared of the responsibility that comes with success, with the next level? The sermon also points out how we often try to fix problems by obsessing over them. But true transformation, it suggests, often comes when we shift focus to our strengths. And this isn't just personal, it's even applied to relationships. Encouraging partners to focus on each other's strengths, not constantly picking at faults.
It's such a different approach, isn't it? What would it actually look like for you to maybe stop talking about what's wrong and start talking about what is working, focusing on the positives, the strengths? The sermon also throws out this line, window shopping days are over, meaning those limitations we see, those glass ceilings, they are not God-proof. They can be broken. It's a really strong call to action, isn't it? To move beyond just seeing possibility, to actually stepping into it, owning it.
Absolutely. And this vision, this idea of transformation, in the sermon, it's scaled up again, applied to communities, even nations, for places facing, deep-rooted systemic challenges. It's about shifting a collective mindset, a paradigm of lameness in the mind. Moving beyond maybe old stories of limitation, to reclaim identity, invest in things like education, industry, and really leveraging the strengths that are already there to unlock potential. The source specifically mentions looking at history to learn, not just dwell on negatives. Investing in people, valuing local resources. That's where real change comes from. It even points to historical instances where big societal leaps forward seem to follow periods of spiritual renewal or revival, underscoring that huge external changes often start with an internal shift in belief, in perspective.
So when you boil it all down, what does this mean for you listening right now? The sermon's core message seems to be that the power for your change, for your next level, it often appears right on the other side of taking action. On the other side of obedience, as the sermon puts it, that moment when you choose to rise, to act on faith, even if it feels impossible. We've covered a lot today, haven't we? Journeyed through this really potent message, seeing how mindset is presented as this master key, how stagnation isn't necessarily permanent. It can be overcome, not just by hoping, but by a deliberate faith-filled lift, and how focusing on what is working, on your strengths, can ignite that transformation. So here's maybe a final thought, something provocative for you to take away. Think of this deep dive, perhaps, as a kind of right hand reaching out to you. With this declaration from the source, you will not die at the gate, whatever that gate represents for you, a personal hang-up, a career block, maybe a generational pattern. The message offers this powerful reassurance that this kind of internal shift is change of mind.
Can almost give heaven license, the sermon says, to make sure that death will never meet you at the gate.
So the question left hanging is, what does it look like for you? For you to rise from this present level to your next several levels, to actually walk, run, and leap into a future, a destiny that maybe once felt like just a dream. Remember the miracle for the lame man.
Yeah.
The sermon says it was too good to be true, but it is very true. So what too good to be true reality are you ready to step into? By changing your mind and taking that hand that lifts you up.
Thank you for listening. To go deeper, watch the full message on YouTube or listen to the full-length sermon on Spotify. Follow the podcast, and please share it with someone who needs it and leave your response in the Q&A. Kindly keep your heart on fire, your eyes on Jesus, knowing you are the exception. Grace and peace. We love you deeply.